Yes. So we yes, we have Julie Ann Segal who's going to join us. And Julie Ann is an interior designer and Feng Shui teacher extraordinaire. And I'm going to she was a student of mine, my writing course, and I'm in the middle of reading her book. And I thought she'd be fantastic to share with everybody. So Julie, would you like to join us? Julie Ann
Sure.
Siegel.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Julie
Julie
Ann.
Ann.
Welcome. Hi. So excited you're here tonight.
I am very excited too. Oh my gosh.
Yay!
So, what do you know about Feng Shui?
Well,
What- yeah.
good question. I mean, I know that, in certain areas of the house, you want a certain direction, you want certain things cleared out. I mean, I know very little, but I do know that it's powerful and that it works.
Very powerful. So, there's two different types of Feng Shui. One is more from the Eastern, it's compass Feng Shui, and that's when you're working with directions. And
Okay.
what I studied, which I do know some of that as well, but I studied more Black Sect Feng Shui is what it's called. And it's working with the front door as where the main energy comes into the home. So you look at everything from where the front door is located and back.
Oh, I love that.
So are you familiar with the Feng Shui bagua?
No.
What that is? So that is a map. I have one right here that you lay. It's a 9 squares. It's a grid that you lay over the floor plan of your home. And each area, when you lay this over, each area relates to one different life area. So, for example, one area of your home will relate to abundance and prosperity, other areas, fame and reputation, relationship and love. So, you find the area where you want to make changes in your life, and you can place things. It's called the art of placement, Feng Shui. And you can place things in specific colors or a specific element to increase what you want to have happen. So say always the center is health. And so it's emotional, physical, mental health. And if you use what you want to use, the color is yellow or any earth tone. And so you can place earth tone. It doesn't mean you have to paint the whole room that color. It can just be an object like a stone like this to place there with your intention. And then when we make this intention and we place it, we take it in, we visualize what we want to have happen. And then we say, we say a little chant as Om Mani Padme Um. And maybe you've heard that before. And it means like the opening of a lotus blossom to reveal its true essence, which is the soul. So you say that 9 times because Feng Shui goes back, thousands of years, 4,000 years in China. And 9 in China is a very auspicious number. So you want to say that Om Mani Padme 9 times to kind of set it in motion, and then you can let it go and let it happen. You want to get out of your own way. So there's, you can do this with, there's a healthful people area. Now, not all homes are perfectly square like this.
Right.
So you have to kind of learn a lot of the nuances on how to.
Let me interrupt you. So, excuse me. What is the name of that chart again called?
It's the Feng Shui Bagua, Bagua.
Can we get it anywhere?
If you Google it, you'll find 100 of them or more. You'll find the maps. But to lay it out, you might need to find a Feng Shui consultant to lay it out on your floor plan because, like I said, you can have missing pieces. And when you have a missing piece, it can be a challenge in your life. So, you have to really learn how to extend that missing piece and fill that in. Or you can also have a extension, which means a blessing. So it can go outside of the bagua and have a blessing. Like in my old apartment, I had a blessing in wealth. And at that time, I had just gone through a divorce. And if any of you have been through a divorce or know someone that has been, it can be very emotionally and financially draining. So I really needed to, when I got divorced, I had a really nice apartment, but I didn't have any furniture. I gave everything to my ex-husband. I didn't want to bring that energy with me. So, and at the time, because I didn't have the money from going through a divorce and getting furniture, the first thing I did was buy artwork because that would inspire me, and I would make an intention with that. So I found this really great piece that just vibrated. It was these florals, and it went up, and the color that you want to place in abundance and prosperity is purple. So I actually placed this beautiful piece that had purple in it and everything in my wealth area. And I'd say within 9 months to a year, I had all the furniture. My business increased, it quadrupled at that time. So was that just coincidence? Or I think it was Feng Shui. I've done this many times. I've helped a lot of people do this, and it's pretty amazing. But you have to get into the belief, like anything else, you have to get into the belief that it's really happening, that, this is really, that you are wealthy. You have to feel it.
Sure. And you have clients that, I'm sure you have clients that don't necessarily believe, but you have to kind of say, listen, it's only going to work if you have the intention behind it, right?
Right. Sometimes I'm an interior designer too. So I'm a Feng Shui interior designer. So I sell all the furniture, window treatments, everything. But when I'm designing,
Julie Ann, what do you do when you meet a new client and you say, I'm a designer and a Feng Shui interior? Do you go and meet them first and say the Feng Shui part of it, or do they want that, or do you not sometimes include that? Because that might scare them, or I don't know. What is?
That's a great question, because I use my intuition.
Yes.
I say I'm a Feng Shui interior designer, but to some people I say I'm an interior designer with a Feng Shui specialty.
It's great.
A little difference. And so I don't want to scare them.
Right.
But I'm very aware, and I use Feng Shui principles even when, like, a lot of people that hire me, they want good energy in their home. Yes. And I bring that, I'm going to help them have good energy. They don't necessarily want to start talking about their whole life with me, but there's others that want to go deeper. And so there's many layers of Feng Shui, and it's just, you can even work with it just in how you place furniture so that the energy is flowing. And making them aware of, do they love the artwork on their walls? Is it something, or have they had that there since college and it doesn't even fit who they are anymore?
That's really funny to say that, because I was recently this weekend, the past week, I'm redoing this bathroom, but I'm walking around my house and changing some rooms up. Like those prints don't work here anymore. That energy is over with. I got to take that off there.
Good. And I would think both of you are a natural at this.
Well, you know what, James, it's so funny you said that, because Sunday we had our housekeeper here and we went into our basement and we got rid of so much stuff. And it was like old relationship stuff, old this stuff, old this. What am I don't want that energy. And out when first of all, it's addicting. You start doing this and you're just like, whoa, it's like the greatest thing ever. And it got to the point where I felt so good from all this energy. I've had tons of energy since I did that. So does that have a lot to do with energy, Julie Ann?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything you own tells a story. Yeah. So you have to look at it. Does it say something nice, or is it saying was it from an old boyfriend that treated you wrong, or, what does it say to you? And if it's not joyful and happy, then it's time to, maybe it's time to let it go. Or if it's something you don't use or love. So, like,
Julie Ann, I have an interesting question for you, which I know you've probably come up with quite a bit. I think you have.
Okay.
Sure. Maybe. What happens in a situation where you have to do someone's bringing you into the house to give you a gift of interior and maybe Feng Shui, and they're hoarders?
I know that situation well. And you'll read it in my book about stories about that. But I can only work with them where they're at and try to hope to bring them to the next level. Yes. So that's the best way, if I can move them to a little bit better level or make them aware of what's happening. But you have to be careful too. I don't want to offend anyone. And I'm sure that's happened a few times. But I try really hard to, listen to them.
Just plant the seeds. Yeah.
Right. I plant the seeds because, like, do you know how clutter affects you? Like, first of all, what is clutter? It's things that you do not use or love, or they don't make you happy or joyful, or things that are untidy or disorganized is clutter. Maybe too many things in a small room or in your room if you have too many things. And, even anything unfinished. okay, so say you have that knitting project that's up in your closet that's been there. You started it 10 years ago and never finished it. Every time you look in there and you see it, it probably brings you down a little bit because you never finished it. Even if you don't look at it, because there are no hiding spaces in Feng Shui, no basements, attics, because it's in your subconscious. It's all part of your energy. It's not until you actually physically let it go that you can, get it out of your existence or
Wow.
to let it go like that. So, you have to really look at everything. But, I also compare things to, like, have you ever cleaned out a junk drawer, like in your kitchen, and put back only the things you love or use, and you can see everything now that's in there, and it feels so good. It feels like a fresh breath of spring air, and
Yes.
you close it and it feels so good. Like, what if you could have your whole house feel like that? Just think of how much it would uplift you. So your space does reflect your life, and that's one of the Feng Shui principles, is your space reflects your life. So if your external environment is not in sync with who you are, or unbalanced or cluttered, it can cause havoc in your life.
That's true. So true.
That's the first step.
There's a Tanette Calderon says, how do you know that you have altered the energy in your home for the better or the worse?
You kind of have to check in with yourself. Sometimes maybe you think you want something and you make these changes or intentions into your home, and it comes about, and then you feel this wasn't the right direction. But it gets you closer to where you're supposed to go and how you're supposed to feel. Well, that's what making intentions.
And Julie Ann, this is an interesting question which someone is writing here, but I also want to hear your side of this. If someone's, and this has happened to many people, and I'm thinking, are they unaware of this? Is this not something that they're aware and knowing about? When they move into, or they live in a house or apartment where there's an electrical pole, the wires going right across, and they're right in their yard, and that has to affect something, doesn't it?
That definitely, those are EMFs coming from those EMFs, and they can be very damaging to your body and your mind. And one time I had someone have me come to their home for just a consultation. They wanted a Feng Shui consultation. I don't know how open they were, but I went into the bedroom and it was filled with so much stuff. They had pretty stuff in there, but it was filled, and they had wires, like the husband couldn't sleep at all. And I said, well, there's all these wires and stuff. Like, he has all this electrical stuff all around his head, even hanging from the headboard. It was a beautiful home. It really was a beautiful home. But I explained, and she's like, well, I don't know if he'll take it away. I'm like, then there's nothing I can do. But that, they had that
static energy. That's that phonetic energy in the atmosphere, right?
It's not good.
I'm very aware of that when I go to places like, there's got to be an electrical pole around here, because they definitely feel the EMFs. I definitely said
And some people don't realize it, how much. I talk a little bit about that in my book. There is a really great guy in California that, if you ever want his name, he's right in California. He used to live in Minnesota, where I am. And he goes in and checks for all those types of things, all the electrical. And
you'll have to give me his number. You'll have to give me his number.
Yeah, I will. And his name is right in my book, Orem. Can I say his name?
You can.
Yeah, Orem Miller. So he's in the LA area, and he's amazing. I think you would enjoy having him come out and doing that for you.
That'd be fun.
Here's a question for you. Doreen Foxwell says, you mentioned using the front door for your style of Feng Shui as a starting point. What if you enter through the garage instead of the front door?
Okay, you can enter through the garage, but it's very important, maybe once a week, to come in through your front door. We call the front door the mouth of chi, and chi is another word for energy. So it's very important to keep that active, and you yourself want to come in and feel it out, what it feels like, and just get that energy moving. So, it's important just to be conscious of that and work on that and come in through your front door.
Oh, that's good. Julie Ann, are there any do's or don'ts in Feng Shui, especially if you're going to I don't know, is there something to avoid, like mirrors, or is there anything you're supposed to avoid?
There's a lot of things, but they're all in context to the type of room. Like mirrors can be so awesome in extending areas and making them feel larger, and make sure they reflect something beautiful. Some people put something up and it's not reflecting anything nice, but mirrors in a bedroom can create a lot of energy. And in the bedroom, you want to be more relaxing. So you do not want to have a lot of mirrors in your bedroom, or any at all. It's best to not have any in your bedroom. So that's, one thing. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts, but it really has to do a lot with the context of your home and how you live and what's going on in your life.
Well, I've always heard they have to keep the toilet seat down.
Down, right. Because toilets, drains energy. So I'm always getting on people for that. Keep the toilet seat down. Yeah, it's an energy drainer. So and also drains too, like your sink drains, it's best to keep them down to keep the energy up in the home, or any building for that matter.
And what about different materials like metals and wood? Can you have different types of materials? Does it matter or no?
Yeah. Well, each material has a different energy to it. So for example, like wood is very entrepreneurial energy, but it's best, in Feng Shui, there's 5 elements. There's water, wood, fire, earth, metal. How many was that? Water, wood, fire, earth, metal. And they all have different energies. And it's to have the space feel its best, you want to decorate with all 5, balance them. But you might have someone, if you're like depressed and this is your living room, you might want to add a little more fire to give you more energy. That's more enthusiasm. It's more active energy. And fire energy can be found in the color reds and oranges. It could be a piece of art of a sunset. It's also, there's different shapes. So the shape of triangle is fire.
Wow.
So we're working with these elements to get it balanced and get the energy just right for, each person individually too.
And what about putting flowers in a room? Does that help? Flowers?
Oh, absolutely. Fresh flowers, the minute they're starting to go, you need to let them go. But it's very important not to use dried flowers because it's dead energy, or very, very sparingly, I'd say. So fresh flowers, it's great to bring in.
And light in the room, a lot of light in a room, would that be also needed?
Oh yeah, the light, and also the control of light, having the right kind of blinds to be able to control the light to get it to how you want it, because you might want, at different times of the day or whatever you're doing, you might want different types of light.
Well, I would say my insight after turning 60. Dimmer switch is the best.
Yeah. Oh,
you must, James. I know. Totally. So here's a question. What if you live in an apartment building and your neighbors are all very cluttered and messy and gross, but I keep my place clean and organized? Does their mess affect my space?
Well, there's something called I think what you would want to do is take a mirror. Like I have these little 10-inch mirrors and put it facing toward them on the wall to push that way energetically with that intention. So that's, there's different ways to adjust energy like that.
I've done that a lot, actually. I did a lot. I use mirrors a lot. Reflective. Yeah.
Reflective. They're so pretty. I mean, mirrors are great in a dining room because when you're eating and you have all the food on the table, it's reflective of that. And that's reflective of abundance and health and everything. So.
And Margaret asks, what about corners where energy collects? Why does energy collect there? And should we put black tourmaline?
Black tourmaline is always, that's a protective stone. So I would use black tourmaline for protective, but corners was, I think, I do more space clearing, like if I'm going into a home. So you would work with the sage or Palo Santo sticks in that area, or even just clapping in the corners to loosen up that energy, or drums or chimes. So using sound to go into the corners. If you feel like, because energy does get trapped a little bit into the corners.
Oh, Barbara George says, please talk about using natural furniture, pillows, not particle board and other synthetics.
So, well, for example, you want to use as much natural like wool because it's hypoallergenic, and it's also gonna last. I love wool because it lasts, it really wears well. Those type of materials, solid wood as opposed to wood that is a veneer is better because veneers sometimes have special glues that are not good for the environment. So the more solid furniture you can have, that is better. Bamboo is always good for, a natural type of wood. So
here's a good question for you, James. You'll love this. This is from Sherry Kinnett. She says, how does living in the midst of construction affect you? Is there any way to keep it positive?
Julie Ann, what is your insight on that?
Well, I know it can be very frustrating and overwhelming. And when I'm working with someone, I like to try to combine this art of Feng Shui and interior design and make it really fun for my clients. That's why I call it Feng Shui a lot of times. I do fun
like that.
So you just have to stay light. But James, how have you been dealing with it? You've been going through some. When I've gone through that, I just try to keep my clients patient and let them know what's coming next. This is what we're waiting on. This is what's happening. And I have really good contractors. So we go on a feed and to make it more positive. So everyone knows what everyone's doing. And I think when clients know what's happening, that's when they feel better because they know it's moving
Absolutely.
along.
I couldn't agree with that more. That's so positive that you said that. Such a good thing to do.
I've done construction several times, bathrooms and houses, whatever. And I'm in the midst of one now. And you know what I do, Julie Ann, to help? I envision what it's going to look like in the future. The happiness when it's completed.
Exactly. So that's how you get through it. It's going to be all better. Yeah. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Okay, Susan Rodriguez asked.
And a good attorney. Yeah.
That's it. That's so true. For me, it's when somebody tells me, okay, Monday this is what's going to happen. Right. Wednesday, this is what's going to happen. It's when I don't know. And I've worked with designers that just kind of let it go. And I cannot tell you how crazy that made me.
It's important. I've been doing this for 35 years.
It's really important. Yeah.
To let them know. And I like when I finally have good contractors. They're in, doing that with me. And so the people feel better. And even when I don't need to come by a week because it's under control, I always come by once a week if there's a bigger project going on because I want them to know I'm there. Is there any issues or what we got this done. That's awesome.
Right. Wow.
Just look at it from.
What do you think about Himalayan salt lamps?
I don't have, I think they're fine. I like them, but I don't know enough about them to say they're great or they're not good, but I've always had a positive, feeling about them and how they work in the environment. So yeah, I couldn't say one way or another. But I think they're good that's, positive feedback I've had.
It's Bridget Bresenhan asks, any tips? This is interesting. Any tips for setting up a retail store for prosperity and to prevent shoplifting?
Well, the
That's interesting.
owner or the person running the place should be in the back, so they can be in the command position. You always want to be. Are you familiar with what the command position is?
Yeah.
So I wish I had a graph, but a lot of things, your desk, it's really important to have it so you can see, like my door would be right there. So you can see it. And it's energetically makes you feel better. You don't want to have your back to the door for sure. Right. If you are in a situation where you can't help that, you could put a mirror there to see what's behind you. And that energetically can help, but it's always best to be in the command position and for that office to be in the back of that space so that they are seeing, energetically are in control. So that's one thing. In a retail space, you can also, if you want more clients to come in, hang a wind chime in the, outside the front door or inside the front door to
Smart.
call in. So you're calling in the client,
Smart.
and you got to visualize it and feel it too. So
That's great. Great advice. Wow.
Really. Don Rosen asks, should you put pairs of things in the romance area?
Absolutely. So in a bedroom, if you want to have a partner, call in a partner, or keep good relations with your partner, you should always have 2 nightstands, 2 lamps, an artwork that is a couple, whether it's a couple of animals, it could be a couple of birds, whatever it is, have pictures like that. You don't want single artwork especially if you're trying, single people or single animals, if you're trying to call in that partner or work on your relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
What about burning candles? How does that affect your energy? This is from Nancy Connelly.
Okay. I love burning candles, and I burn them intentionally. So I buy all those candles, like if I want to call in more clients, better luck, romance, and there's so many of them out there. I light them with that intention. It brings my energy up, and they've worked wonders for me. So I definitely
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And also candles in Feng Shui are fire energy. So that's another way, if you want to bring more enthusiasm, passion, and energy into your life, to have candles, around too, to light them.
So Tanette Calderon says, if you want a special room for spiritual meditation, what room would that be? Also, if you have people coming to your home for spiritual meetings, what room would be best for that?
Well, remember I was talking about the Feng Shui bagua.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I'm getting that.
What was that?
I'm going to be going on, the internet after.
You're going to look. So in the Feng Shui bagua, this area here is usually your front door. At this level is one of these spots. It could be behind the bagua. Be behind this area.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. Yeah, there. Yay.
Okay, thanks, Renee. Okay.
So it can be behind an area, but never in front of the bagua. But the area that you'd want to put a meditation area in is skills and knowledge. It's also about inner knowledge, like working on your inner self. And also, this is a great area for a library as well. So you can find where that area is, see if it can make sense that you can work into, meditation into that area. If not, there's other areas. It's not that you have to put it there. It's just one of the best areas if it works out that way. But I'm sure there's other areas. It's more about how you decorate it too, to make that intention of being a meditative room with softer colors and natural fibers, and just feel good.
And those boxes there on the bagua, is that with the front door is one of those boxes? Is that right?
No. Well, the front door, the front door is usually at the area of skills and knowledge, career and journey, helpful people and travel. So it's along that bottom edge.
Okay.
Or it could, depending on the shape of your house, it could be behind that area as well. So I'd really, I explain this in my book in more detail, and there'll be graphs in there, and I'm sure you can find graphs on that on the internet as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you send me your floor plan, I'll draw it out for you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So what's the best way to increase your Feng Shui energy? So, you start to feel really good and alive.
That's a good question, because that comes from a lot of things. It comes from, exercise and living a balanced life and eating right. So it's all that together. But when you work with the energy of your home, for instance, not have clutter around and have the things you love and use and the right colors on the wall that resonate with you and work with you, and that your home is set up to support you. I have all those things will help to bring your energy up and be good Feng Shui. I've had people where they don't use a room in their home, and I feel like every space should be used properly. Even if it's a storage room, then you have you just have some shelving. It doesn't mean it has to be expensive, but you can put shelving in there and organize it, and only have things that you're going to use in those rooms.
Everybody's asking about crystals. Now, I'm a crystal freak in nature. So what is your take on crystals and putting crystals throughout the house?
Well, we use a lot of times the round faceted crystals. Do you know what those are? Sometimes I have one laying around, but I don't have one here. They're round and they're different sizes and they're faceted. I have one on my, I don't know if he pulled that from my website, but do you have one?
I don't know if is this it?
No. Around faceted. I used to have them sitting here. I have one upstairs, but, and I don't have one in here. Wait a minute. I have a complete guide. Here we go. Well, this is what a round faceted crystal looks like. And it's usually hanging from 9 inches from the ceiling to the top of the crystal or to the bottom of the crystal, 9 inches. So if you put it on your own, 9 is the auspicious number in Feng Shui. And we can hang it to calm energy. So you have a very long hallway. So the energy in a long hallway would tend to go very fast and not feel right. So to calm the energy in the center of the hallway, in the center of the ceiling, you would hang that round faceted crystal 9 inches from the ceiling to calm the energy.
And does it matter if you hang with a string, with red, with
red is nice. It's it's a powerful color in Feng Shui. You can use red, but sometimes I've just used even fishing string or wire or something. But you also want to always hang it with intention. So these round faceted crystals are hung with intention. Say you want to have better health. So you find the center, even the center of your home. So I want to make a point that you can lay the Feng Shui bagua over a whole home, but you can also lay it over a room. And there you get the layers of Feng Shui a little bit. So the center of a home or a room is always health. So you can hang it in the center it calms the energy, but also the intention is to have better health or whatever that means for you. Wow. So does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I have an amethyst crystal, big amethyst crystal I got from Brazil in my living room. And I just put it there. So when people come in, any negative energy is drawn out. Positive energy.
Right.
That was my intention. Even though it's really not used for that.
Right. Because that's more like the
spiritual.
Right.
It's really interesting, which you would know. Like I find it with where I live, my space. It's a couple of questions I have for you. And I'm not a designer per se, but I do gardens. And my idea is that the eye always has to keep busy. So you turn that way, there's going to be something to look at. Over here, there's always going to be interest for your eye. Is that right? Would you say?
Well, yes, but it's okay to have some blank spaces too. That because you don't want to take away from everything and get too many things going. Then your eye's just going all over the place, and you want to have some breathing room. A little breathing room. So not to overdo it. You don't have to fill up every little space is what I'm saying, but it has to be balanced in the room, and not just energetically, but also physically balanced.
It's true. Wow. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't know what I was going to ask, just something else.
What is your take on family photos? Because Marilyn Wiedemann is asking about that. She says, I have them in almost every room except the kitchen. I have my kids, my grandkids, my parents. Does that hinder energy flow? Good question.
Okay. First of all, in the bagua, there's an area that's called family, and it's for extended family. And that would be a great place to place photos, family photos. You can also put them in other areas of your home, but one area you don't want to put them in is your master bedroom, because it's like this is a place that's sacred and very intimate, and you don't want your kids and grandkids all in that space with you. So, some people have a hard time with this, but to me, it makes sense. And I have 4 kids. I love them dearly, but I don't have their photos in my bedroom.
I've never done that. I've always intuitively have never done that. I felt
James.
Right. You did. You just right.
I have kids and grandkids, and I never ever did that either. Wouldn't have crossed my mind.
Right. I go into a lot of people's homes where they do have that, and
it's fascinating. Okay, here's a good question from Carrie Tucker. She said, what is this year's good luck color? I know last year she says was red.
Oh, you know what? I wish I could tell you that, but I don't know what that is. I don't think they talk about it at a Feng Shui meeting or anything. So I don't have a color that's a good luck color. I think all colors are good luck. I just love color.
And Alicia Daniels wants the TVs in bedrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, TVs are pretty much a no-no in the bedroom, but you could, I know a lot of people love their TV in their bedroom. If you could, there's two ways to get around it. One would be to have it in an enclosed cabinet when you're not watching it and when you sleep, so you close it off. And then the other way is to drape it with like a pretty throw or something when you go to bed at night, because TVs have a lot of energy and you want to have it as relaxing and peaceful as possible. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
Cecile B says, what if the house feels stagnant?
That probably has more to do with maybe going through your own things and seeing what you can let go of, because once you declutter and do some of that, the energy will start to pick up and you will let go of some of that stagnancy.
You're very, very wise, young lady.
A lot of really great information, Julie Ann. Really terrific.
Thank you. It's fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are excited for your book. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to read it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you. I loved it.
Great.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.